60 years ago tomorrow, Queen Elizabeth II took over the British throne after her father, King George, passed away.
Bless, we beseech thee, this crown, and so sanctify thy servant Elizabeth, upon whose head this day thou dost place it for a sign of royal majesty. I here present unto you Queen Elizabeth, your undoubted queen.
With more on Queen Elizabeth's long and remarkable reign, we bring in journalist Gavin Gray. Good morning to you, Gavin. Look, it's a little bit hard to believe. It's been 60 years and so young in those images. Was she really ready to inherit the throne at the age of 25?
Well, I think she was prepared. I don't think she was really mentally ready for it. I mean, after all, you look at Kate Middleton today in her late 20s, 29, and they're all asking, you know, a lot of pressure on her. And, of course, she's still 2 generations down from being, as it were, at the head of the family. So a huge amount of responsibility suddenly thrust on her shoulders. And all this not long after the massive constitutional crisis of the abdication, Wallis Simpson, and that whole history being revisited by Hollywood again this year in a film. So I think it was a huge, huge thing for her to take on. And only one monarch, incidentally, has ever achieved a diamond jubilee, and that was Queen Victoria in 1897. So we really are witnessing history this week.
Look, she's shaken so many hands, planted so many trees, cut so many ribbons. The world has changed so much over the last 60 years. What about with Queen Elizabeth herself? How has she changed and yet still retained the dignity of that position?
Well, the one constant has been duty, that she sees everything as a tremendous duty. That's why she's working hard now, as perhaps she was at the very start of her career, as it were, as the monarch. Now, you know, she's had a pretty tough ride over the last few decades with 4 children, 3 of them in fairly messy divorces, and all sorts of talk about the monarchy costing the British public too much, and indeed, of course, various countries under her watch, as it were, in the Commonwealth getting into hot water or going their own way. So there's a concern, of course, as she turns 86 this year, that she is doing too much. Prince Philip turning 91, and he's very much said to be the rock of this relationship, somebody she can always sound ideas off. And she has had to change, but many, including her own grandchildren and Prince Harry, really concerned a little bit about her health and about the health of Prince Philip. All this before Prince Philip had to go into hospital over Christmas. And the younger royals saying it is amazing that she's still able to do what she can do.
The way that she carries herself forward, smiles constantly, able to go into a room and bring the room to life. You know, I mean, these are the things that at her age she shouldn't be doing, and yet she's carrying on and doing them, and not only in this country but all around the world.
So rare to see these really intimate thoughts from the various members of the family. Of course, they've loosened the strings a little bit for this celebration. What's in store as far as the 60th is concerned? What's planned?
Well, the biggest events are going to take place in June, which is our summer, between the 2nd and the 5th. And I have to tell you, outside, I don't know if you can see just as well, because it's snowing here really heavily. But in June, all sorts. A big concert at Buckingham Palace, a Thanksgiving service at St Paul's Cathedral. You would expect those, and you would expect a huge turnout at both, and you'll get them. But there are also, of course, visits around the world, and 1,000 boats, it's said to be, in a long procession going up the Thames with Her Majesty at the helm, as it were, in the main feature boat. That's going to be extraordinary to see 1,000 boats all decked out, plus endless street parties that people have been getting permission for, and a whole lot of other parties that are being planned. Of course, they are using, the royals, as it were, are using the younger members of the royal family to do the more long-distance visits to try and touch all parts of the Commonwealth during this time. But the visits that Her Majesty and Prince Philip are making are much closer to home, and I think they're hoping that she will be able to enjoy the year as well as do all the public duties. And I have to tell you, there is a little rumour that when Prince Philip was asked what he's most looking forward to about the Diamond Jubilee year, he said, the end.
I love the Prince. That's what's kept her on track all these years.